requirements of what everybody had to do. What questions they had to answer, what type of dancing, they needed to show us, et cetera, quality of filmmaking. And so we got back hundreds of submissions. And it was from there that we took those submissions, the stuff from Tap Dreams, Tap Heat, and Dean Hargrove really did the hardest job of chopping it down. We gave many suggestions, but it's also, we know everybody in the film just about, so.
And everybody who submitted.
Yeah, so it's hard for us because we just love everything. We would do a saga. And he really honed it all together and in a very objective way to just share stories. So I guess a decade in the making, which is, in many ways, films take a long time, and that's why it's just so touching to see it all come to fruition. Yes.
How many submissions did you get, and then how did you break it down?
We got 117 submissions, and so the way people submitted was we had a YouTube channel, and they would send us links via YouTube privately. And you can actually watch all the submissions are up online on the Tap World YouTube page. So if you're curious to see the other submissions, because they're all so fascinating, cutting them down was really hard. So Chloe and I, along with Kalina Rollis, another producer on the film, and Doris Stockstill and Dean Hargrove, would watch all of the video submissions on our own, and then we would have lunches or meetings and talk about who we thought was interesting. So it was kind of like we would get there and be like, well, I really like blah, 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 and I really like blah, 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 and then, we would kind of fight for our people or back down. And so it was really a fun process too, because there were actually a lot of people who submitted that we didn't know and that were really fascinating, because in the call for artists, it wasn't who's the greatest tap dancer, it's what's your story.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really fascinating and really awesome. People tap dance everywhere. Everywhere. Well, when we get an angel funding sponsor, then we can open up all the footage and get an editor. Because you're right, this tap dancing is like the never-ending story of everything, of America, the never-ending story, because everybody has a different perspective. So, the footage alone from the submissions we got could be 6 movies,
And another thing I want to just share, because a lot of this has happened over a decade, and you can see on Facebook, when you see a movie, you're like, how does the movie end? Well, these are real lives, so they're continuous, right? And what's amazing is Josh Johnson, he graduated from school. He is out pursuing his dreams right now. He dances in my tap company. I mean, he's living the tap dream. And you have, unfortunately, we have to salute 2 people who actually unfortunately passed away. Chitresh Das, the Indian Kathak dancer, and also our mentor, Tony Lombre, who you see at the very, very end. And so, life is an evolution, but then his student just performed with us in New York. So it's a constant, continuum, I'd say. And so it's exciting, all of these dancers, I hope you can see the film again, bring people back, and then, maybe write down all the names and just Google them to see where they're going and stay connected with the journey.
Any advice for documentary filmmakers?
My advice would be to be relentless and really trust your vision and your dream and what you want to see out of it, and keep it as short as possible, because the first cut of the film was like 2.5 hours, and now it's 72 minutes. And I feel like it's all about feeling, and have a good team. The team is amazing. Like our team, all those names that scrolled at the end on the production side are incredible. One of the DPs is the head of the Cinematography Guild in California. Like, he is Hollywood for, has been Oscar nominated. And so the team was amazing. So it's all about a team that will elevate you, believe in you, and support you, and show you the love, and then also the truth when you need it.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I think that I would say the same thing, and then don't shy away from sharing your work so that you can get, feedback that helps you finally put out a product that's viable. And the reality is everybody won't love everything, but at least if you can have a clear vision and a clear feeling that you hope to evoke, then hopefully, the majority of people will walk away with that. And the main thing is don't give up, because this has been a decade, like I said, and here, it took time, and we're here, and we have a long way to go, but it's just amazing that it's happening.
Have tap shoes changed any in their design as far as the clickings?
That's a good question. There are more companies now than ever that create tap shoes, so absolutely yes. They're just getting just more variety and more options because everybody's feet are so different. So it's a great thing to have different types of metal and different types of shoes for each artist.
Okay.
That, you choose your own adventure with that.
Okay.
There was a woman here, and then.
Where did you two meet, and where did you learn to dance yourself?
Okay.
We're sisters. In the movie, she has curly hair. And in the movie, they shot me 10 years ago. I was like 15 pounds heavier, and my hair was much shorter, and I had different glasses. So we're sisters. She is my big sister. She's Chloe. I'm Maude, and we're from D.C.
Okay.
And we grew up dancing in D.C. We live now between Los Angeles, New York, and basically D.C. because we have the D.C. Tap Festival. So yeah, we met at birth.
Right here, and then we'll go.
Exactly. This is my niece, Zoe. She's kind of quiet and shy. She brought her tap shoes. She was hoping to hit a step with you guys.
Okay. We'll make that happen maybe afterwards in front of one of the Tap World signs or something. Okay. In the back?
So for someone who wants to pursue a career in tap,
Yes.
what do you offer them as prospects other than Broadway and tapping on the street corners in New Orleans or subways in New York and so forth? Because you have ballet companies and contemporary and all of those dance forms. So what's your career path if you're a tap dancer?
That's such a great question.
Other than teaching.
That's such a great question. So what's exciting also is that since this was shot, there have been more developments. So Michelle Dorrance, who's in this film, she has a company called Dorrance Dance. They are commissioned. They are working just as much as a modern dance company in New York City and all over. I have a company now called Syncopated Ladies. We were on So You Think You Can Dance. We won the crew battle. We have viral videos that Beyonce shared. I mean, it's so exciting because, I'm watching this and I'm like, whew. This last 4 years, we have been fighting for more opportunities. So my mission is that Syncopated Ladies I want to franchise a show so that young women can have a performance opportunity that is continuous. And Michelle Dorrance has similar visions. And again, all of these tap dancers that are in here are visionaries. Derek Grant creates shows. Jared Grimes creates shows. He has something called Broadway Underground that is basically a forum for burgeoning artists to share their work in New York City. So it's a great question. We're really trying to build the field. And that's why the film is so important, because it evokes questions like that and hopefully evokes producers that say, hey, that talent is awesome. Why don't we use it for X, Y, and Z?
Are there any touring tap dance shows like there are?
Yeah, so Dorrance Dance tours right now. Tap Dogs tours right now. Magic of the Dance.
And then there's the circus.
Rhythmic Circus.
There's another one in London.
Yeah, there's a full-time tap company in Austin and one also in Orange County called Rhapsody and Taps. So it's,
Tap ensemble.
yeah, well, they're on break. But if hiatus right now. But it does exist. But again, that's why we wanted to make this movie, because we're very fortunate to live our whole lives tap dancing. That's what we do to live and survive. And then so by doing that, we've been to 28 countries around the world, seeing artists all over the world. And that's what really sparked this was, nobody knows this is happening, but it's happening. And we live in LA. Our mentor is Debbie Allen, so we had this film you know, she's a dancer turned filmmaker, so we really wanted to follow in her footsteps to put dance on film, and because we know that that will raise the awareness and hopefully raise the market value of what we're doing so that more people can work. Because how many people here are tap dancers? Exactly. And don't we all want to be working every week doing what we love? Absolutely. And I hope that this helps. We really, really hope.
But the interesting thing about it is that since there is not a field, like I have a lot of really good friends who are ballet dancers and who are modern dancers, and when they're not in a company and they're not doing something very specific, they're doing nothing. And because there isn't technically something that you're supposed to do as a tap dancer, we can create our own work for ourselves a lot easier than, let's say, a ballet dancer. So it's kind of like twofold, where my friends who are on Broadway, when they don't have a Broadway show, they call me, they're like, Maude, I am lost. Like, how do you hustle so hard? They don't know how to hustle because they never had to fight for it. So it's kind of now we're able to have something like this, and we have that hustle. So now we're really like push. Like I'm working on a movie right now, I'm writing. So Chloe and I both went to film school. And so that is our dream, to create work. And I've booked 2 commercials. One as a tap dancer for Visa, and I say my name is Maude and I'm a tap dancer. So they, you know, those producers saw something interesting in that. So things are happening, which is exciting.
I was just curious how much intersection or interest you had with Spanish flamenco, because that dance form, a lot of the steps and a lot of things they do, I saw mirrors of that in that film.
Well, in Barcelona, in this film, there's a dancer named Ludovico, and they are really obviously connected. So when many of these artists, we've been to Barcelona before for their tap festival, and flamenco dance is incorporated into that, as well as here in the States, there have been many collaborations, and it's a sister language. You know, it's the language of rhythm. Our technique is different, but in essence, the idea of creating music with your feet is the same. And so we feel like they're family.
We love it. Every time we meet a flamenco dancer, they're like, oh, that's jam.
Yeah, it's always an immediate kindred spirit. Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, I have a question about injuries. I'm an older dancer. I've had some injuries, and I didn't hear. Oh, I'm an older dancer. Not true. And I've had some injuries, a busted tendon, a couple of bones here and there. What is it? I'm not a tap dancer, so what is? I didn't hear anybody talk about being busted up from tap dancing.
Well, the irony is like Harold Cromer, the young gentleman who we said R.I.P. to. He was in his 90s and still dancing. And the interesting thing is that he never spoke to us about his injuries. You know, like in point shoes, I remember my teacher tried to put me on point, and my mom was like, she is not going on point because she's going to be a tap dancer. She's not going to be a ballerina. She's not having the body for it. Let's not ruin her feet. Let's not ruin her body. They're injuries. I mean, we have injuries. Like Chloe just had plantar fasciitis. And so now as we're getting older, I'm in my late 20s, so I'm not like old, but I can feel my body in a different way.
Yeah.
Now you just have to really make sure you're tap dancing on the right floor, on something that's sprung, not concrete, not, metal. And then just getting the massages that you need and taking care of your body. And
yeah, I think it's about preventative. So we do yoga, we stretch. We work out, we go to the gym. We have insoles. If you can get custom insoles, do that. I mean, it saved my life. I feel like it saved my life. And acupuncture.
We're not doing things like forcing turnout. So we're not, the hardest things that it is on your knees are like I've sprained my ankle, going on my toe or something. But it just is you're training your body in such a different way that you can do more preventative. Because ballet dancers are so strong, but the things that you're inherently doing are unnatural for your body, and really risky.
And the great jumps too. I mean, those jetés, the floor is hard.
Exactly.
I mean, we do jump a lot, obviously, but we are in a shoe, and hopefully, if you put the right things in the shoe, you can prevent.
Okay, thank you.
And another thing is, I had a student once that took my class in a walker. So the difference with tap is that I think the older you get, the more respect you get. The older you get, the more appreciated you are. And I think that is definitely an anomaly within dance and even sports, where really it's like Harold Cromer. I mean, we're like Harold Cromer, there's a reverence for the stories that the elders carry more than the footwork.
Yeah. So your dance evolves as you get older, so you're not like when you're 90. You can keep it calm and everybody still thinks you're amazing.
So, in teaching the younger dancers, how do you not only teach them, the steps or the technique, but pass along the real, true kind of meaning of tap and where it came from and its American history and, the rhythm of creating a story rather than just learning the specific techniques and steps?
Well, when I teach, I always, and I have some students that have taken my class in here before I saw earlier. I give them homework, like full out homework. I always say, you're on Instagram, now you can go on YouTube on your cell phone. Don't come back to here tomorrow when I do intensives. Don't come back here tomorrow if you're on Instagram and you didn't do your homework. And so we give them homework and we talk about it. And the great thing about tap dance is that it is an art form that is by the people and it is for the people. It's for everybody. And I think that when you teach it with that open heart, that sense is instilled in the students. And then you do make them do the homework and the research. Our teacher, Tony Lombre, used to make us do research papers and go to the MLK library, pre-YouTube and all this easy stuff, Google everybody, and look at books and write reports from books about tap history and how it intertwines so much with American history. And hopefully when young people see a film like this, they're even more intrigued and want to do more research on their own. The first time I saw Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk on Broadway, I was like, this is the history, and I fell in love with not only just the amazing dancing, but finding out what it was about. So.
And one more really great thing is when I was their age, we came to see the movie Tap, and that's the last time I saw a tap movie in theaters, which is over 20 years ago. But that movie, I'll never forget walking down the street, what the marquee looked like. I remember every moment of it, and that is again instilling the idea subconsciously of the importance of history, but it's in the present in a way.
We fall. She asked if we fall sometimes. We fall all the time, but a great tap master once said, Jimmy Slide said, if you're falling, it means you're trying really, really hard. Just get back up. Girl, I've fallen on stage. We have fallen so much. It's all about the recovery. It's all about the recovery. I fell dancing with her on stage one time. Like, I felt bad. It wasn't like a slick fall, you get back up. I mean, it was like my foot got caught, so it was like a hesitant fall, and I went all the way down. And I got up, and I continued dancing and laughed hysterically the entire rest of the time I was on stage. So it's all about the recovery, but you will fall. In life, you might have a setback, you gotta keep going. Good question.
Hi, first of all, congratulations on the film. You all look wonderful, and the stories are truly inspirational, they really are. Question, what sort of recommendations would you have for somebody that's interested in exploring the option for the first time, tap?
Well, who are our tap teachers in the room? Stand up in the area. Take it. Tap teachers, stand up. Tap teachers, stand up. So, these lovely women, they're our friends, and they're awesome, and they teach in the area. So, I would say, talk to them. They're in Virginia, and all of them are wonderful. And but there are great studios. If you live in D.C., there's American Embassy of Dance, there's Joy of Motion. In Virginia, you have way more options. Go talk to those lovely ladies. That is your best bet. And they just started something called the DMV Tap Experience, and it's a $5 class, and it's open level, and it's only $5, and the teacher rotates every week. And that Sarah Reich, who was in the film, started that in LA, and they did one in New York, and they did one in Orange County, and now they just started one in DC with Katie. So talk to those ladies.
And also a lot of our community centers in Virginia offer tap programs for adults, for beginners and intermediate.
They say tap can prevent Alzheimer's, so hit it.
Well, I was going to tag on to what Jerry said. I think one of the coolest things about tap with the injury side of things is I feel like there's a lot more room for modification within what you're doing. And I always say to my students, like Dave here has been in my class, Michelle Abian took my class, and there's lots of opportunity to kind of work where you are at your skill level. But there's a lot of room to add in modifications to make things more challenging or simple, or like if you have a bad ankle or a bad knee, you don't have to jump, you just drop your heel. And I think there's a lot of freedom there and a lot of flexibility to just kind of be where you need to be for you for that particular day, which I think is, you don't find that in other styles, at least in my experience. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
So, oh yes.
When is the DC Tap Festival?
I like your thoughts. The DC Tap Festival is March 14th through the 21st, 2016. It's 1 week long because we added the choreography residency that we did the first time this year, which was a hit. So we're going to do it again next year. And please come, please join us. It's exciting. Last year we had students from like 16 countries. So it was super, super exciting. Also, if you have a child and would like to host one of these wonderful people that you saw from Brazil that come on scholarship, email me, dctapfest@gmail.com, because we want to encourage homestays, and one of our other goals is to create an exchange program for students from the DMV with kids in Brazil to swap. So that's something I'm working on. So stay in touch. Yes. Oh.
I was saying just reply on the mic. Yes, we are going to do the holiday program again. And yeah, and we're going to basically, this is the beginning for Tap World. It's in theaters. Our mission, like I said, we are right now in 3 cities. We'd like to be in more cities. So, please tell people to come, spread the word. If you can go outside and take a photo in front of something that says Tap World, post it on Instagram and hashtag Tap World Film. That would help us so much. We have flyers if you want to take some back with you. We run for a whole week, all day, every day, for a whole week. People can come and see it.
They have group ticket rates, so if you know like a bunch of kids that want to come with a camp or something like that, there are group rate offers also. So please encourage people to come. And we have flyers.
Yes, and thank you. And I amazing. And I think that I can't stress enough, and we've been telling the dancers in here too, and what you were saying about how do you build a career in the art, it's through word of mouth. It really is. Nowadays, we have the access to social media to empower ourselves, and that is so incredible, because before, if you didn't have, New York Times advertising dollar for a half page, you're not going to reach anybody. But now we have social media, so the tagging, if you know us and follow us, we've posted about this at least 50 times by now. And, if you could post a couple times, it would help us tremendously, because it is a movement. I feel like it's the tap movement, and you're a part of that, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's really exciting. So, thank you. Please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell all their friends. Thank you.
Thank you.